So I'm just following the rib cage, taking the shoulders off, nice and tight. Going to expose the hip and the thigh, and I'm just coming down to where the leg bends. And with the comb, this muscle wraps around the front of the leg, so I'm just following that line that the muscle. And I'm going to turn her around and do the same thing on the other side. Right at the shoulder blade, coming down. Exposing the shoulders. Getting all that excess hair off. Save us scissoring time afterwards. Taking the thigh hair off. Again, right to where the leg bends. Coming around front. So I'm just going to take off from under the jawline. All the way around. I got you, little one. I know, you got some snarls still. I'm going to lift her up. Mom says she's got a bad shoulder, so I'm trying to be gentle here. And I'm just going to come up underneath and get all that excess hair off from her belly and her chest. So now that I got her clipper work done, I'm going to grab my scissors. Get some of this hair out of the way. So I got my scissors, I got my comb. So now we're going to comb through where we just ran our number 2 snap-on. The rest of her little snarls out. I'm going to take my straight shears, try and get her to stand, so I can put her top line in. Gotta love these little toys. And I'm just gonna lightly tip over where I just did my comb attachment. Just to smooth it out a little more. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with her tail yet, so I'm not really doing much there. So, and just like your bigger poodles, you want to set your angles in. This is going to be a 30-degree angle to set the tail in. And you just hold the blades of the shears at that angle and you will get the right look. So I want to clean this back end up area and coming in with my curves. Scissor that in. Still, baby. Taking my curves and I'm just going to come down the front of the thigh here. Get rid of some of that bulk. Scissor in the rib cage. Again, I want my curved scissors. And I start at the bottom and work my way up to create that nice curved rib cage. Still kind of smoothing out things. Just trying to tidy up the tuck up area here. Come up front and smooth out her shoulder. Back to my straights. So that'll give me a nice flat line. I know, little one. Get down to the elbow. So we want to set this leg up in under the dog's chest. So I'm going to come around front, got my curves, and get her to hold still. And I'm just going to niche this in. So I can see where that's going to go. Bring that down. And we want to create a little forechest. Just going to pull that up. Again with my curves backwards, I'm just going to tighten up this area under the jawline. So that creates a nice little angle for her shoulder. Smooth it out without losing my little dog. So that's basically her body lines. We've set in her rear, we've set in her shoulders. We're going to comb her legs down. Pick her foot up. I'm going to take my little 6-inch shears and trim the bottom of the foot. And because I want to leave a little behind the foot, I'm going to comb it down and I'm going to hold it and trim it just past that first pad. So rather than trimming it flush at the foot, which would pinch that leg, I'm trimming it down farther. Getting rid of some of the excess around the foot. being careful not to take too much so I don't pinch it. Set it down so I can see what I've got going. See the way we trim this now? We've got a nice flat line here rather than taking too much off. So now I've got that set, I'm going to take my curves and trim it at the toe so I can get a nice round foot. I'm going to go all the way around the foot. I've got to get the inside as well as the outside. Comb it up, back to my straight shears, straight down to the outside of my bevel that I just created. To start making my parallel lines. And what I do on the outside, I have to match on the inside. No, sweetheart, you gotta stay. So then when I get those where I want them, I can start finish creating my back angles. So I just lift this. Now remember, we clippered to the bend, and I just clean it up with my curves. So now we're really starting to see a leg here. Rid of some of the stuff. Comb that up again with my curves. I'm going to bring the hock area straight down because we left some hair back there so we can have a nice shaped foot. So just cleaning this up. Getting rid of excess hair. I always do the front of the leg last because that will determine, once I get my parallel lines in, that determines how much hair I want to leave. If I want a more full leg, I would leave more. I'm just going to leave more hair here because I think it looks cute. Then once I get this one where I want it, we're going to move to the front leg. Same thing we did. Little 6-inch shears. Combing that down at least to the pad to leave myself some hair behind the leg, behind the foot for the back of the leg. Just trimming off any excess. Combing it down. Taking my curves and just shaping my foot again, same as I did on the back one. comb up that leg here so I can make my nice round leg. Straight shears, straight down from where I came down with my comb to the outside of my bevel. Gonna do the outside of the leg. And the inside, and I like to set it while they're standing so I know it's straight. And once I get those two lines in, I'm going to trim the front of it. Because I don't necessarily want to create a foot. I want to see a nice straight line from the toes to the top.
You go straight down to the toes, right?
Right. So I would use my straight shears to set it, and now I've got my curves out just to kind of, so I can get in there at the different angles and clean things up. Hi. I know, I'm not so mean. I know, see? Then once I get the front of the leg and the sides of the legs where I want them, then I can determine how much I want to leave on the back. Going to take the lacy stuff off and see where we're at. So I want my front leg to match my back legs. Nice thing about little dogs, you just pick up their back ends. Doesn't work on a standard poodle. So now I'm just nitpicking to clean it up so it looks the way I want it. I know. All right, so now we got to figure out what we're going to do with her tail. I think I'm just going to kind of put a giant pom-pom on it. So I'm going to pull it up, trim the top. Give it a little shake. Was shorter, we could have made it look like a little bunny tail. Trim the bottom. Get my curves and then just take off the So that makes a big pom-pom. What? So there's her tail, her legs. So now we got to figure out what we're going to do with her head, which we're going to do a little teddy bear look. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to take the outside corners of my pulse ion and just niche out that area between the under the eyes, the inside corners only. I don't want to take a lot out. So I want to leave some hair in there, but I want to get rid of the staining. So it'll look nicer without the staining. Stop. Pull it all back. And then I'm just going to pull a very small layer over the eyes. I know you don't like having your beard held, but I think you've had it held before. I don't think this is your first time. Taking my curved shears reverse, and the blade's at almost a 45-degree angle, because that'll leave the shorter hairs over the eyes with a little bit longer. And now shorter hairs are going to help support the visor. Turn them around and just, so you almost have a very serpentine. You're all right. Little cut there. You're all right. I know we don't like it, but it's okay. I know, hold still. So then I'm going to pull another layer. And following my original cut, again with my curves, this one's just going to be straight. It's not going to be a serpentine. Another layer, follows that same line. And I'm just going to keep layering this. And when I'm done, we're going to comb it all up, and we already have our bevel started. So we'll just need a little bit of cleaning up, shortening. So then we're going to do the same thing underneath. We clipped to a certain spot for the most part. Where my clipper line is, I'm going to take my first cut. Comb it down. So now that separates our head from the neck. So that just kind of brings it all forward. So I'm going to clean up the sides a little bit. that ear out of the way. And the nice thing about mixed breeds is you can do whatever you want for this type of trim on a little poodle, because you can make this really tight. You can leave it fuller. I'm leaving it a little fuller because I left her tail so full, so I want the head to sort of balance that. Comb the side hair up on the muzzle. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Scissor that muzzle round. So many people tend to just comb this down and just let it hang, and it doesn't help create that circle. So if you pull this up and put it right, make a little circle here. I know, but I gotta hold it. I gotta hold something. Now, I have kind of a special technique I use when I want to get these little hairs that are around the lips, and I'm always afraid they're gonna lick while I'm doing it. I hold their head, and I put my fingers here, and I pull that hair that I want to cut between my fingers and cut it like that. That way my fingers are going to feel that tongue starting to come out, and I don't cut the tongue. Oh, how cute did she come out? Look at that little face. So now I've got to finish the top of the head and blend it into the neck. I'm going to pull that ear forward. Again, with my curved scissors reverse, just going to come up. Just trimming that neck hair to get some of the bulk off so I can see what I've got. I'm not sure if she'll do this, but we're going to have her sit. Pull her neck in. Take my straight shears. Get some more of this bulk off. Going straight up to the back of the head. Switch back to my curves. Clean the shoulder area. Then I'm going to come up and use my curves to set the curve on the back of the head by just tipping her head back. And let my curved scissors do the work. I know, what a good little girl. So, and it gives you a nice transition from the back of the neck in.
So you sit her down so it goes, and you can do it straight, and then you just sit her up and make the round.
You know, and I do that on my poodles. When you have to leave the neck hair, yeah. My older standard, I could never get the neck right. He was, yeah. I was always either cutting the back of the head off or... So the only other thing I have left is I just want to trim the ears a little bit. They might be cute beveled. So I'm just gonna let them hang naturally. Take a little bit off the side so that the outside hairs are shorter than the inside. That'll make them look thicker. They'll be shorter. They won't be getting in her food. She'll still have that puppy look. We do the same thing on the other side. Got to make their ears match. And that is our little poodle and a teddy bear, which you can do longer, you can do shorter, you know, whatever the owner prefers. There's her little face, and there's a little side view. Thanks.